can't stay here. It was a mistake for me to come. Mistake for me to have been born, actually. Joe's too miserable in his job, and he doesn't see it, but I've had to point out to him, you're behaving like an abuser, Joe. I should know because I've been on the receiving end of that, too much in my life, my past life, and I have to fight it in myself. But the difference between me and my mom is I'm walking on eggshells with Joe. I'm trying so hard to not be a burden, for my dog to not be a burden, to stay out of his way. Whereas my mother provokes me intentionally. For attention or for what? Plus she feeds breadcrumbs to vultures who she views foolishly as her friends. Okay? All the problems between me and my mom, 99% of them over the past few years are because of that. But an abuser uses excuses, like when I point out to him what he's doing, it's like, well, I had a really bad day at work. Yeah, that's what an abuser will say. I'm like, Joe, the way you talk to me, like I forgot to, we were doing frozen fish, and I forgot to write down the instructions. And he's like, what's wrong with you? Why didn't you write down the instructions? Like, I don't know, because I'm not perfect. It's like, but that's how an abuser talks to you. What's wrong with you? You're supposed to be smart. And there was something wrong with his upstairs towel rod. And he was mad. And I could see it in his eyes. He's like, Laura, come here. Did you do this? Were you leaning on this? Were you doing it? I'm like, no, Joe, I wasn't. Well, it wasn't like that. And I'll have to do this, I'll have to do that. And in the end, he realized that it was probably him that did it. And then he turns around and says, well, it would have been an accident if you did it. Yeah, but you weren't talking to me like it was an accident. You weren't talking to me like it was an accident until you realized that it was you. Well, I don't remember doing it, but I didn't. I'm not going to pull on your rod or whatever. It's an old house, and it probably just was slowly coming out. And then he admits, like, yeah, it's not in a stud, but the other one is. But his first instinct was to fucking blame me and get upset. Then turn around and deny it. Oh, even if you had done it, it was an accident. I don't feel like that at all, Joe. I don't feel like I can make any mistakes. I can't say a word to you. I can't say anything. I'm walking on eggshells, afraid if I do or say anything, he's gonna, wrong. At the very least, he's gonna put me down. But now, I was afraid of him last night. I don't care what I've said to you to upset you. You don't fucking scream at me and come at my face and chase me. That's the difference between me. If I'm upset with my mom, again, I hate myself afterwards, but if, she can provoke me. Even Selena knows, even Joe has known how she will provoke me. One night I'm just trying to sit and watch TV and relax, and she's supposed to be in bed at 10. It's after midnight, and she's sitting on the couch instead of in her room, and I'm like, go to bed. No, I'm not going to bed. Mom, please. This is my only time to relax. Please, I do everything around here. No, I'm not. She forces me to yell at her. She's not walking on fucking eggshells. She doesn't care. That's the difference. But I intentionally stay far away because I know what happens if you, especially if you're a guy, and you're coming up in a woman's face, right in her face, screaming at her. I had to run upstairs because he wasn't content to yell at me from far away. He was coming towards me right in my face. I don't give a fuck what I did. You don't fucking scream at me in my face. I was afraid of you. He's a ticking time bomb. I see it. He's fucking miserable in his job, and that's an excuse. Even when I'll say you shouldn't talk to me that way, well, I had a bad day at work. That's what abusers say. Abusers aren't abusers for no reason. A lot of times it's because they're having a miserable existence and they're going to take it out on other people. Joe says, I've changed. He's changed. He's the ticking time bomb. It's a mistake for me to come here under these circumstances. When I visited those 3+ months, Joe wasn't miserable in his job. We only got into that one major fight. This is different now. He's fucking miserable. He doesn't, he essentially chased me upstairs because he was coming right at my face screaming at me. You're coming right at my face screaming at me. I can't trust you're not gonna hurt me. So I ran upstairs. And I hear him downstairs, oh, just kill me now, whatever. And then he's ordering me to, you owe me an apology. I'm not apologizing to anybody who comes at me screaming in my face. Even if I'm wrong, I'm not going to do that because me saying something to upset you is not the same as you fucking screaming at me in my face. It isn't. I don't care what anyone says. Especially someone like me who comes from being severely abused by my father and by Donald. Joe's never experienced that. He says, well, you don't understand what I'm going through with my job. Yeah, and you don't understand the kind of abuse I've suffered in this life. You have not suffered that, Joe. You have not. And you had a loving family growing up. My father from Donald, and to a lesser extent from Irv, my abusive alcoholic stepfather. But he was more, for the most part, abusive towards my mom, not towards me. I just had to witness it. Joe didn't experience anything like that. He doesn't understand as a man, if you do not come up, I don't do that to my mother. If I scream from a distance, if I, you know what I mean? And I hate myself for it too. But again, she does provoke me. Like I've told church women, I don't yell at my mom right away. I don't yell at her if she makes a mistake or what have you. She forces me to yell when she just won't leave me alone. Okay? Joe's a ticking time bomb. I'm walking on eggshells. Trying not to do anything or say anything that might upset him. He's already throwing me out, already telling me to leave. Not looking into his own self and just saying, you're miserable and you've changed and you're this and you're that. Okay, whatever, Joe. It's a mistake for me to come here. I thought this was going to be my home. I foolishly thought it's not, it's his. He's the one working, and that's it. I'm just here. I barely have any access to a computer. I can't even watch my TV programs. I thought Joe doesn't go to bed early. I had told him up front that I just thought that I was a fool. I thought this was going to be my home. Not that we'd have equal rights, of course, but I don't have any rights. I don't have any. I don't have any. Because he's miserable in his job, and he's the one working. It's that simple. Omar and I are just here. We're just here. I can't say anything to him. He took me someplace which was nice, but it was after work and after he'd eaten. I hadn't eaten. I was starving. I was thirsty, but he wanted to go driving for hours because he wanted to get out of the house. And what am I going to do? Say that I really just want to go home? No. No. But I hadn't eaten for several hours. I just wanted to quickly go down the street, do what he was doing, an errand for me, and then come home. I didn't want to go driving far. Again, it's all about him because he works. I can't say, can we please go home? No, it's all about him because he's miserable and he works. It's his way or the highway. I'm walking on eggshells. Then after he was screaming, I needed to look through papers. Because that stupid fuel assistance, everything was on the Railer Cube, and I had stuff that I fucked up and didn't send them something, so, and I spent several hours organizing all my stuff yesterday. Joe didn't even want to move his car. I'm like, Joe, you have to move your car. I'm stuck here doing nothing. Nothing. I don't have access to a computer. I can't, I need to get up my stuff and organize it. Plus more stuff's coming and you're going to be upset. I need to condense. I need to get my clothes. I don't have my soap. He's miserable in his job and it's all about him. Then he says, I don't understand. I listen to you, Joe. I do understand. I'm sorry. You'll sit there and bitch to me while I have Omar in my arms. He'll sit there and want to bitch to me about his job when I have Omar in my arms, when Omar needs to go to the bathroom. It's all about him. He's fucking miserable in his job, and that's it. It's all about him. All about him. I'm putting groceries away, and he won't even like start to make his dinner while I'm putting groceries away. So then there was a problem, and then I haven't eaten. If we're living together, why can't you make your food while I'm putting the groceries away? I can't eat anything until you're done, so no, he doesn't want to even be in the kitchen if I'm in there. The thing with that towel rack, he acts like he didn't behave that way, but I saw his eyes. He was really angry, thought that I had, and he's like, I'm gonna have to fix this, and this is the thing with the house, and then I stood my ground, and I'm like, Joe, I didn't do it. Then he thinks about it, like, yeah, I probably did it when I was putting towels, and I need to be more, but his first instinct was to blame me and be angry. Then turn around and say he wasn't angry. Oh, well, even if you had done it, it would have been an accident. Joe, you don't act like anything's an accident. You say, what's wrong with me when I forget to write down directions, when I've never cooked frozen fish before and wasn't thinking. We had to thaw it out and I threw the package away. I wasn't thinking. That's abusive. That's an abuse. The abuser behaves. What's wrong with you? You can't do anything right. You should know things without me even telling you, or you should know and you should remember it. That's how an abuser behaves. Joe's the one who's changed. He's a ticking time bomb. He didn't used to be this way. He's miserable in his job and has even said to me more than once when I'm like, don't talk to me like that. Oh, well, I had a bad day at work. That's an excuse. Take it out on me. He already doesn't want me here. I thought this was going to be my home. I thought I would have rights, but I don't. I don't even have the right to say I want to watch a secular TV program. Because Joe works all day, and I understand that, but I have no rights here. I have barely any access at all to the computer. I had to fight to even get him to set that up for me. It's not like he set it up for me immediately. He could have set it up for me before I even got here. And I can't watch TV either because he's doing stuff after he works all day, and I understand that. But it's not my home. I don't have any rights here. I can't even say something to him if he views it as wrong. There's no discussing it or me saying why, I feel this with you ever, and it's just him screaming at me. When I tried to defend myself, he just wouldn't stop screaming at me, so. And then he wasn't content to scream at me from a distance. He's telling me I don't respect him. And then he's talking to me, he's like, you don't understand. Fine, I don't understand, Joe. It's not true. Nobody understands completely. It's not like I'm so happy. It's not like I'm not in pain. I'm not taking my pain out on anybody else. You probably wouldn't even bother reading this. He got mad at me when I didn't know any better about leaving the garage door open. I thought I was doing him a favor just to bring my stuff around and not disturb him where he's working. And he's like, he thinks I'm supposed to know everything. Like, how the fuck am I supposed to know that leaving the garage door open is gonna make the house cold or whatever? I'm walking on eggshells, just trying to do whatever, trying to stay out of his way, trying not to upset him. So he probably won't even read this. It doesn't matter. He wants to be caught anyway already. Just like Daddy. Just like Daddy. You know? Just like Daddy. I don't want you. Nobody wants you. Your mother's crazy. I'm going to ship you back to your crazy mother. So, I thought this was going to be my home, but I was wrong. I and my elderly blind dog are not adding any value to your life, Joe, and I want to go home. You are a ticking time bomb, Joe, and it was a huge mistake for me to come here, especially to come here with my old dog, under these circumstances where you are obscenely miserable in your job. You are the one who has changed, Joe. I was afraid of you last night. When I yell at my mother and hate myself afterwards, I intentionally stay far away from her while yelling. Because you chased me, got right up in my face while screaming at me. And the fact is, the outside world agrees with me. I don't care what I say to somebody to upset them. It's not the same as, especially a man with a woman, screaming at me and getting right up in my face. He wasn't content to be far away. He was coming towards me. You yell at somebody from far away. You don't fucking come towards them. That's threatening. I was afraid of him. I don't want to be afraid of my best friend for decades, so I need to fucking leave.